All right, welcome everyone. We are going to be jumping straight into the champ select of this second game for today. We do have World Enders on the blue side and always Bot Diff on the red side. Both of these teams had an unfortunate 0-1 start to the week, but we'll be able to see which team will be able to pick up their first win for the week going forward as the bans are coming in. I'm Stu. I'm joined by Rocket today, and we should have a pretty good cast coming out for us today. As we can see, some good bands coming out. You see that Ezreal already picked away, and the Diana as well. War Under's always doing a little bit of their homework.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game because I think they're both pretty evenly matched teams, but they all have like one specialty that they do, like the global comp for World Enders and then the team fight comps for ABD. But judging by their bans right now, I believe that's Garrett and Set. I can't tell because the it's like
Yeah,
Minecraft on
it's
mine
sad.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so two very common chants played by the top laner and the mid laner, so they're trying to make sure that they don't get good team fights going on against ABD. So what some typical bans from them?
Yeah, we see the last ban there from ABD on Red is that Nocturne. Nocturne being such an obnoxious pick on this patch, as I've probably mentioned maybe 15 times already. But if you're on red side, you pretty much lose a ban because you just have to ban this champion. It is impossible to play against the champion. It just has such a strong interaction with Stridebreaker that you really don't want to let the enemy team get it. As we will be seeing the Wukong hover and locked in. I know Issy, Wardender's mid laner, is a big Wukong fan. We'll have to see if he'll pick it up though. He's sworn past it these days, but maybe he might have to go back into playing the monkey to grab out this win versus ABD.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good, huge take from ABD. Oh, well, a huge check against ABD because Wukong always being able to be the typical monkey trickster he is and just reset a team fight with his double ult status, and it's going to be very important. Tristana picked from ABD, typically a flex, because Penelope and Dilly both play that. So, though we have seen Penelope play it mid more often than Dilly playing it, though. But anyway, the Xin Zhao, a very important ban from ABD, no, sorry, from World Enders as well, because uh, Xin Zhao has just ability to just have a lot of gank potential, and that's what World Enders wants to play against. The Viego pick coming out from ABD, a very popular pick now right now, can be played mid or jungle, but most often seen mid, very strong, and has just an overwhelming presence in team fights.
Yeah, and the important thing for ABD is they did take some notes from their last couple of games where they struggled a little bit in draft. And this game, having a much stronger draft, you pick two flex picks, and it's really hard to figure out where these picks are going to go. ABD surely know where these picks are going to go, but Warriors really have no clue as they lock in the Senna, and this could be the fasting Senna lane. Wukong is one of the companions to this Senna that you sometimes see. It's like a mix of Wukong, Cho'Gath, champions like that, so it wouldn't be impossible for that to be played in the bot lane as we will be seeing what Issy is opting to pick for his team here.
I believe the Sun is actually a Zaya pick, as mentioned by Issy, and going to be a very oftenly picked by not Kim Jong, ex Leafman, and he's very profound on Zaya. He's probably that 80 carry pick that always plays for a late game, and rounding out the comp with the Rakan is just a synergy bot lane that just always works out no matter what.
Yeah, and Nautilus is a fine answer to Zyrakan. One of the things that Rakan really struggles against is a lot of CC that you really just can't avoid. Looks like they will be opting into the Vayne instead. The important thing is they do pick this Vayne is they're still not really okay. It will be the Nautilus. I would have preferred if they had picked Vayne, but it does kind of lock them into that 280C comp. But the Nautilus is still a fine answer to Zyrakan. You don't really need a certain ADC to pair with it. If it is the Tristana, that's great as such a good lane combo. If not, then you can still pick another ADC, and Zyrakan really tends to struggle against lanes like Nautilus and Leona. It really has been such a long time since Zyrakan has been in the top meta. So we'll have to see if these players are rusty on it, as we will see Issy's patented Galio banned away. No comfort allowed for him this game.
Bit of a questionable ban if you ask me, because Wukong being revealed is either top lane or mid lane, but knowing the top lane pool, it's not really something that's option because top lane likes to play a lot of those global comps or champions that like to spend a lot of time shoving and then just TPing to the team. And Wukong isn't really one of those champions because he's more of a duelist and can focus on the 1v1, although he does have that team fight pressure. But the Rengar getting banned out by ABD. Adam Farm, a very proficient Rengar jungler player. You saw them last game against GME, just absolutely popping 80 carries and supports every second. And it's very good idea to make sure that your Tristana doesn't get popped every 60 seconds for his ult, I believe.
Yeah, it's something like that. This might be a placeholder, but this might actually be what ABD wants to play. There has been a recent wave in Sejuani top, and Rave has always been a fan of those kind of like situational picks. Like when Kane top was a little bit of a wave, he played that as well. He's been known to play the Rammus top, and it's looking like there is no placeholder, so this will be the Sejuani top, I would assume. It could be Viego top, but knowing Reeves champ pool, it most likely isn't. It will be that Viego into the jungle with the Sejuani coming into the top lane, as we will see an answer in the Rumble. Nice little source of AP damage, and obviously has some very strong synergy with Rakan and Wukong.
Yeah, the Poseidon playing more of a carry role lately might be the one that actually takes the Viego. I don't believe Penelope really has that in his champ pool because believe he plays primarily mages and assassins, but Viego is kind of in that kind of gray area where he's a frontliner and a assassin, but so it's not really in his pool. I believe them. And here comes a Malzahar. I'm not sure if that's actually Malzahar or if that's something in because that's not something Issy typically plays, but it could be possible that the Wukong actually is going top this time and focusing more around a team fight comp with that TP and making sure that Wukong has a good matchup into that Sejuani.
Yeah, and it looks like it will be, so you won't be seeing anything come out in the chat, and that could be the Xerath mid. Penelope has played this a few times, so it's not impossible, but it looks like Xerath will be actually Victor. So a little bit of a, if Tanner's in the chat right now, which he probably is, he might be a little upset. Tanner, an avowed Victor hater, but Penelope has always been on the other side of the coin, saying, Victor is not that bad. He'd be pretty good in some compositions, as they're going to immediately hop straight back into this. And honestly, I think both of these teams navigated the draft fairly well enough. I think if I would have to choose, it would be World Ender's composition. I think their composition has a lot more strengths and has a lot more counters into always bot diffs, and it's just the Sejuani top. I get it's the wave and it's trendy right now, and some people think it's good. I am just not one of those people. I think it's a little bit more of kind of a meme pick, like some kind of cheese where once you play against it once, you really understand it, and it's just not as good anymore. So hopefully the Wukong will be able to realize what the Sejuani top is going to be. Actually, it's going to be the Viego top, as there's no reason to roll swap at this point in the game. So Rave taking one for the team and stepping off of his tank duty and actually playing a bruiser. This is a little bit of an exciting move from Rave.
Yeah, actually, I do think the team comp does go in the favor of ABD this one because Victor plus the Sejuani and then it's just going to be a massive amount of CC and the vehicle getting the resets and team fights is going to be just absolutely massive. And Tristana's being that third carry, in this case is the third carry because Viego and Victor are so strong, just have the ability to just wail on them and Nautilus Sejuani forming such a tight core of frontline and Victor providing an I believe the augmented field as his CC is going to be just very hard for the team to get behind. So we're going to have to see how the Rakan and the Wukong navigate around those those crowd controls.
Okay, no, it looks like we've seen a little bit of a role swap here from Worldenders. Issy will be moving into the bot lane and taking up the support role with that Rakan, which we did see him do in the previous season, and it's looking like he's going to take up that role again for this game against ABD. And we'll be seeing that Malzahar in the mid lane. I definitely think you have some strong points about what ABD wants to do, but I look at Wardender's composition and they just have so much CC and the ability to really reach Victor. Victor doesn't have much peel outside of this Nautilus and Sejuani. And on champs like Rakan and Wukong and Malzahar, they really have the ability to just pick one person and make them not be able to play the game. And with a low damage composition like, oh, it will be the Sejuani top. So they just played a little trick on us. Oh my god. Ray, you had me going. I was ready for you to drop your takeaways, but no, it is the Sejuani top, and it won't be Poseidon on the Viego. Maybe taking a little bit of tips from Terra from his last game.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that plays out. Poseidon is trying to be that carry lately, but let's see how slippery that Rakan and the Xayah are, and was Xayah, Rakan, and Wukong are, and see if they can navigate around these team fights.
Yep, and we will be hopping into the 3-minute Spectre delay now. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the KDL. All right, we are gonna go ahead and join back from the 3-minute spectator delay, and I'm just gonna be waiting for the lovely League client to start up whenever it so dearly wants to. As we are just gonna be loading to this game, for both of these teams, there are a little bit of stakes on the line. Both of these teams here have good standings. I believe Warriors is sitting at 2-1 currently, and ABD at 1-2. So ABD really need this win to kind of cement themselves in the center of the pack and be able to get that playoffs eligibility. Right now, they are sitting at that 6th place, so they would be eligible, but they're not getting a lot of breathing room. So this win would be so important for them. And Woodlanders, if they're able to pick up this win, that means they're going to be tied for 2nd place with GME, and that is certainly an admirable position to be in. So both of these teams just looking for something to prove on this game.
Yeah, World Enders, GME, ABD, and Dab Nation being four of the middle pack teams essentially, because it's gonna be every matchup is gonna matter, and it's gonna depend on those not mirror matches, those that round robin of games where everyone plays against each other, and the matchup that and the games that they win against each other are really gonna decide who gets to sit comfortably in that third and fourth spot, or versus that fifth and sixth spot.
Yeah, and it's definitely something to look out for as we are getting now to this is game 4 for most of these teams. So as we start getting into these games, people need to really start be thinking about, okay, what do we need to get playoffs? And for ABD, they really need a couple wins back to back because they are sitting at that 6th place, and it is, if they get a couple unfortunate losses in these games, it's very rough for them. Both of these teams are just 5-man stacking. This is interesting. I don't think I've seen this in a long time. As both of these teams maybe gave each other a tip, like, hey, we might 5-man invade you, you better watch out. As they're both just sitting there for the invade.
Yeah, World Enders actually really known for that invade pretty early. They invade into that top lane, try to catch out that top laner who's kind of AFK and not making any trying to try and punish him. Sorry, and then they're trying to and ABD obviously expecting that expects to stack in this pixel brush and kind of catch them out on the way back, but that World Enders expecting that decide to stack in a different bush, expecting them to invade. So it's a huge coin flip mind game going on, and it's not a lot really happening. So in the end, no real information was gained from either side for either side.
Yeah. And we can see both these junglers starting on opposing sides. It's going to mean that they're going to most likely, just trade scuttle crabs, do a little handshake. As both of these junglers here get a leash, get a small little leash and then go back to the lane as the mid laners just kind of farm. We see Wukong here sitting in the top lane bush, potentially looking for a cheese as Adam here is cutting out the red buff, make sure he's not taking too much damage. And we just don't see too much going on.
Yeah, typical lane setups for Malchops and stuff like that. The Malzahar, I believe, was an interesting pick into the Victor because I'm not sure how that matchup works, but I believe it does go into the favor of the Malzahar since he does have a lot of CC and kind of spell denial with his passive. But we'll have to see how it plays out because Victor is a very strong champion once he gets going.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting lane matchup, and one I can't say I'm too familiar about is the fight is breaking out in the top lane. Sejuani and Wukong here both willingly taking this fight, so they're just going to take a little trade back and forth. Rave gets the grass buff. The Conqueror is procced for the Wukong as he goes in for more, getting a nice chunk on Rave. Rave taking maybe a little bit too much damage, as it is going to spell disaster for his lane. But we will see, both of these junglers finishing up their 3rd camp, moving on to their 4th, and nothing too peculiar happening so far.
Yeah, that matchup is going to be heavily leaned towards the favor of that Wukong being an excellent duelist like that, but the Sejuani is going to have to wait until getting her Bramble Vest before anything really happens. Kind of start stacking that HP to make sure that she can get even trades. But for now, it's in the favor of Wukong, and even though he didn't go TP, he probably could have cheesed even though he went TP, he probably could have cheesed the lane and probably got an early kill. But I don't think Rave would allow that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Rave has been a little bit of a foundation of cheese. He tends to know how a lot of these cheesing lanes go, especially in the top lane. So I would doubt that he would get cut out by that, and smartly so. I think Wukong believed it as well, and just kind of, took that opportunity. As Rave, they're actually trying to get a nice little cheater recall, but will get denied out by the Wukong. Smart heads up play for him to really check that bush and make sure that he's not going to lose it. As the vision will get caught out as well, and Viego here potentially looking for a mid gank because he's going to come up behind this Malzahar, and Malzahar gets stunned up, gets damaged. Unfortunately, is not going to go down. Simon will take a nice little tower shot, but that doesn't mean Malzahar is going to get chunked out.
Yeah, Malzahar should have kind of expected that because we did see that bot lane did call out that Nautilus was walking towards up the Scuttle Crab. So if the Rumble decided to not full clear and walk to the Scuttle Crab, would have known that Viego was coming and would have been able to get that Scuttle Crab for free, even though he is right now, but would have been able to have that information as that he's spotting out that Viego.
Yeah, and you can see Adam there just taking a nice little recall in the bushes. The hook will go out. Nautilus will get a nice little hook on top of Rakan, but because it is Rakan, it does not mean too much. Without the Nautilus ultimate, it's really hard to lock down this Rakan and make sure you can't get away. As Victor here is just pressuring this Malzahar. Adam here forced to stop his back maybe 2 times. It's really going to set him behind in this jungle pathing.
They're really trying to make something work or something, hoping the Victor really walks up on that Malzahar, but it doesn't matter. The
Oh, you know, Tristana will jump forward and they unfortunately won't be able to kill the Rakan, but they did get the heal out of the Xayah. They basically traded heal for Ignite as Xayah here gets hooked again. Kawhi here just hook after hook. This man does not stop. And unfortunately, it won't mean too much. You know, you just get a nice little chunk and you are going to force them to reset. It will be on the bot lane of ABD to see if they can punish this afterwards, because this is the point where now both characters are low enough they don't have any potions. This is where Kawhi could potentially make a really strong play happen, but Adam here smartly realizing this and is bot side to potentially mitigate anything.
Yeah, well then there's ABD playing it very well, trying to get those early skirmishes because the Tristana early game is going to be stronger than the Xayah, even with that Rakan synergy, and they're trying to get that early kill in. But Rumble
Ooh,
going
the
in.
hook going in. Rumble is here. The flash comes out from Nautilus. He realizes he's dead, but the teleport comes out as double TP. I can't wait for my bot lane 2v2 as so many passive marks have gone down. Xayah here has the flash, is forced to use it. As honestly a net positive play for Rodenders as they get to save their TPs as Rakan here is getting a nice little poke damage on Victor. Victor potentially looking to stop the back of the Xayah Rakan. It looks like Sejuani will opt to back and they won't force this dive, but they could have maybe gone for it. The team can't really decide as both members are backing. Victor here is going to get caught out. He's forced to flash away, and so interesting play from him is he's looking to go for more, getting the greed coming out. Your E does not do that much damage as he does get picked up, and Rumble here will get picked up by Kawhi, and it's just an interesting play in the bot lane as Diego is on his way down as well.
A lot of indecision coming out from both sides of the team. It's just Worldenders just going in and trying to hope and get something out of it, but then Penelope going a little too far, and then the Rumble going a little too far, not too sure, and they ended up getting punished for it. Both sides getting heavily punished, but Penelope getting away for free and getting the kill on the Rumble really was very important. Actually, no, Penelope was punished. What am I talking
Yeah.
about? I just
It
looking at the wrong
happens,
team
it
fight, huh?
happens. Interestingly enough, I think it needs to be noted that Tristana and Nautilus really mess up their back timing with their jungler there as well. This means that Dilly gets denied at least, Fiber 6 creeps, which, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot of XP lost and a lot of CS lost in the hands of Dilly. And that is, the kind of small advantage that good players can really make use of and abuse. As Viego here is on the dragon, they're just going to take it pretty much no contest. Woodenders have decided that they were going to put more priority topside rather than try and go for this dragon.
Yeah, Poseidon being very smart and noticing that both sides have forced it back. So basically, if Rakan Rumble wanted to do anything, Viego was going to be there first and always being able to be faster clearing that dragon with that percent health damage on his Q passive, and it just gets that free dragon without anyone noticing. Although I do believe they noticed since that blue ward isn't spotted out by that pink ward, Rumble coming in with the ulting, stopping that. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a fun and interactive champion, huh?
Yeah, that is a nice little wombo combo, and that's the kind of combo that Malzahar really can put out, especially for the troublesome members. I think this Victor, seeing that combo, it all makes sense now that Victor will just get spam ganked. He will not be able to move. He will pretty much get ulted when both of them have their ultimates available. And importantly enough, you can see Viego here going in on top of this Rumble, getting a nice little poke damage. Rumble does not have the ultimate, does not have the flash available, as Victor, or excuse me, Viego will just pick him up. Poseidon here looking for more potentially, as he's just going to walk forward menacingly but not able to land anything. And that will mean that Malzahar gets away.
Yeah, that Malzahar ult's gonna be very important in this game because it just locks down that Viego to make sure he doesn't get those resets and moves around the team fight to steal those passives and make sure that he doesn't. I just said he gets resets twice, but anyway, doesn't get those resets and just locks out the team fight for them with that Rumble ult and keep zoning out that Victor and the Sejuani.
Yep, and as you look at the CS, you can start seeing the CS leads grow in their respective lanes. Bot lane Assuming Xayah catches all these minions, we'll be up around 4 CS. The mid lane here, Malzahar being up 20 CS, which is a pretty considerable advantage. And, you know, you see in the jungle that Poseidon has a slight CS advantage as the pings are coming out. Rumble and Wukong are potentially looking mid. As Nautilus gets forward, lands the hook. Issy goes in, gets a 2-man stun. Xayah puts out so much damage. The heal comes out. Dilly jumps out, not sure if his damage as Kawhi wanted to go in. More split decision making from ABD, and it really seems like they can't get on the same page.
Yeah, a little bit of a questionable team fight because Xayah does not really have that damage. It has that consistent damage output that she really needs to keep up with that Nautilus and Tristana being with that E bomb from Tristana, and then the amount of damage from Nautilus W just being way too much for them to handle. Seeing that Rakan just got absolutely blown up, and Xayah being forced to use her ult just for damage, not necessarily the escape.
Yeah, and unfortunately enough for ABD as well, Kawhi ended up getting both of those kills. So, you know, I mean, ideally you want them to go to the ADC, but on Kawhi, it's not absolutely wasted, but it's just not where you want the gold to be going. As you can see, you know, both of these junglers here in this top side looking to protect their top laner, potentially their mid laner. As Rumble here, it looks like he's coming back for round 2 on top of this Victor. And Victor here forced to recall because of it. And we see 2 members topside for ABD. The Sejuani ultimate is available. It looks like he's waiting out the W clone, as he is just going to get CC locked. And oh no, the Sejuani hold goes wide due to the flash from the Wukong. It's a nice little flash to stop that. And the Herald is popped mid as a result. And, you know, ABD didn't get anything topside, but Wardeners will certainly get something in the mid lane.
The double whiffed ult from the Viego and the Sejuani is going to be very unfortunate because now they don't have a lot of team fight pressure. Not besides the fact that they don't have TP, but Viego getting those ult resets is going to be very important to kind of make sure that Xayah is mitigated and that Rakan doesn't get to move around a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately enough for them as well. I believe both of their ultimates will be just down or just coming up around the time of the next Mountain Dragon, which will be in just a minute. So we'll have to see how that goes when that comes up. But importantly enough for Warlanders, they still have that Malzahar and Rumble interaction, and they can use that on anyone that's not even exclusively limited to Victor. If anybody walks up and Malzahar is just sitting in a bush, and you're not really able to find him out, then they could potentially look to get it on Dilly, on Victor, on Viego. It could be on anyone. But smartly enough from ABD, they have placed a lot of vision around this Dragon Pit. Kawhi has done a stellar job at placing this vision down and making sure it's secure. And Warlanders have actually been putting a lot more of their focus into that top side, and you can see the split map with all the wards on the map, and Warlanders have chosen that top side, and ABD has chosen that bot side.
Yeah, it looks like the potential dragon for this game might be Infernal or Ocean, both very good team fight dragons because Infernal Dragon's getting
Let
a
me
lot of
hold you
extra
up as the
damage.
flash comes out, and it looks like, oh no, the Rumble missed his ultimate. That is so sad as the TP came out from Sejuani. Unfortunately, it won't be needed. It looks like they're maybe potentially looking to dive. No, it looks like they're going to call it off. You know, the dragon will be spawning in 6 seconds, so that should just be a free no contest dragon for ABD. And Warlanders there, you know, Wukong at least gets a little pittance prize of pushing this top lane tower. He is going to get at least 1 plate and should be able to stop anything bad from happening up there. But ABD will be able to secure the dragon, and importantly enough, that's their 2nd dragon of the game.
Yeah, a bit of a whiffed ult from that Rumble being very important because that would have been a lot of damage, making sure that Victor doesn't survive to the next fight because that would have been able to be turned around, and but as a consequence they get the free dragon and Viego does get his resets to just put a lot more pressure on the mid lane.
Yeah, I do see Sejuani coming back here into the top lane. I mean, she still does have her ultimate. She has the potential to lock up this Wukong as the ultimate will come out. Unfortunately enough, it seems like it just did nothing to this Wukong as he is just going to walk away. We see Rumble coming out with the pings. His ultimate is available in maybe just 15 seconds, but it is warded out, so Rave should not die to this. But Wukong was able to get those 2 plates, and that is equal to a kill, and like you said, it is going to be that Ocean Dragon for these last remaining dragons, and ABD up a 2-0 dragon lead is definitely going to be something that one of these have to climb up. But fortunately for them, they do have that, you know, like, what is it, like 1.5k, 1.6k gold lead, and that is something that they could utilize to potentially work in their favor.
Yeah, that Ocean Drake is going to be absolutely massive, especially since they got that Mountain Drake just now. There's going to be a lot of extra stats and health regen for that, for Rave and for Kawhi, and to be able just to be able that perfect front line with that extra shield from Nautilus and then Sejuani being the CC queen that she is, she's just able to just frontline and deny any kind of entrance from the Wukong, seeing how that she just, whoa, a pause coming through.
Yeah,
Dog on
dog
fire.
on fire. I'm not sure how they're gonna solve that one, but we will be going ahead and switching the screen temporarily, just so that way nothing will end up happening. We can see if the players are going to be ended up coming back. As we did see, some interesting plays already coming out. I think the story of this game so far has really been ABD has been a lot more the objective focus, as the players did manage to get back. Here we go. And it looks like the spectator client will just go ahead and pause for a second as it catches back up. But ABD has been a lot more objective focused and not really focused on ganking the lanes and making anything happen, where Warlanders has been very gank focused, trying to put gold into their pockets and trying to snowball. And you can see the results of both of those as ABD picks up 2 dragons and Warlanders are sitting around, 2k gold lead at this point. And it'll be interesting to see which style ends up working out in this game.
Yeah, ABD playing very proactive in terms of objectives, but also very proactive in terms of like trying to get those small leads and where they matter for the team, and that's really plays to their goals every single time. And World Enders playing very reactive, usually as they do, because they do like to play that Shen Galio global taunt. But then Poseidon's coming up top for a gank onto the Wukong.
Yeah, and it looks like Wukong will be looking to get away. Unfortunately, he is not able to, as he will just get CC locked. You can see the strength of a melee jungler with Sejuani in the top lane, and that will cause him to go down, and he is going to lose that entire wave. And we can see there's potentially a cross-map play coming out from Warthen. As you can see, Malzahar and Rumble on the mini-map. The missing ping is coming out. Dilly and Kawhi should be walking back, and it will be interesting to see if they're able to make anything happen. As Malzahar is hovering in the bush, he will get spotted out, and it looks like he's just going to walk away. As Kawhi is going in when he knows 4 people are around. I'm not sure about this one. As Rakan just gets absolutely obliterated. Dilly just standing in the equalizer. Somehow it turns up the wave ABD.
Yeah, Rakan going a little too deep and just tanking too many tower shots is just unfortunate, because that Nautilus knockdown really just kept him from being able to dive in and out of that extended Zyra range. So it's just completely unfortunate. Getting spotted out early really denied any kind of activity going on, well, any kind of gank going on for them.
Yeah, and that will equalize a lot of the gold that was a differential for ABD. And now you see they're sitting at pretty much even with World Enders with a 2 dragon lead. And now World Enders are starting to look like they're on the back foot. They need to figure out something to get back into this game, maybe push the gold advantage ahead, or they need to stop the dragon. So as the hook comes out and the Gale Force will come out, and the TP from Malzahar, a little bit questionable, as it will just be a peace of mind TP, I guess, to save the Xayah and make sure that nothing bad is going to happen to her, but that is mean that you're 1 TP down for World Enders.
Yeah, it can be really unfortunate there. Rumble electing to go Night Harvester this game. I believe their team actually. I think that was believed that would be the difference between the Dilly getting killed if he actually went Leandri's Torment, Anguish, something like that. I don't know the names anymore. It would have been a lot. The extra percent health damage would have been that extra 8% health that Tristana would have needed just to had been killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
What a
happens.
bit
It's
of a word
alright.
soup going on.
As you can see, Sejuani with 3 members here from ABD in the bot lane. As the ultimate will be cast out, they're going to be going fairly deep for this as the Malzahar flash comes out. And you can see that just the power of this top jungle duo, they're able to really make plays happen around the map. All the while at the same time, Victor is just freezing at his tier 1. So it is a little tragic for this Malzahar. He's going to feel unsafe to just even walk up to the wave. As Wukong here is looking to potentially go on the Sejuani, looking like he is going to opt for it. He's just going to get some nice little poke damage out and then return to that pink ward, as we do have the Ocean Dragon here spawning in 30 seconds, and 3 members of ABD are walking straight down.
Yeah, it's gonna be really up to World Enders this dragon to be very proactive, try to get that early vision to make sure that ABD can't sneak it like last time, because this is soul point for ABD, and if as soon as they get that, every dragon is going to be a must contest for World Enders, and it's going to be not something you really want to do with a 3-0 Viego who's already has their Divine Sunder and a QSS who could just kind of reset regardless if you want him to or not.
Yeah, and he did pay the tax, like you said, with that QSS, so he is going to be able to stop like a Rakan engage or a Malzahar engage on top of him. That really does make him a bit of a problem for Warlanders, as they are slow coming to this dragon. The damage is not entirely there, so ABD, okay, the quickness comes out from the Rakan. He is going to lock up the Tristana, but unfortunately, it's not going to do too much as the big damage comes in from the Xayah. She gets pushed out of the fight as we have a two-way fight on two sides. It looks like ABD is coming out on top for now as the flashes come out from almost every member. Xayah here is looking like she wants to make something happen. Pulls the feathers back, and it is going to be a lot of members dead for ABD. It is now a 2v2. Sejuani flashes over the wall, but fail flashes as Dewey is the last member alive, and a triple kill for the Wukong, and this should be the dragon going the way of World Enders.
What a really messy fight coming out because Wukong just being in that back line and being able to just do whatever he wants and keeps that Xayah alive for longer than Dilly could free hit. Dilly was unfortunately being forced all the way back to the blue buff and was just kind of standing in a position where ABD had to return to the fight, but because Wukong was already so strong and had blown up most of their blah 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 back line, uh, they weren't able to do anything at all. And ABD being able, World Ender was just able to clean up the fight because Dilly was just not strong, and neither was the Nautilus.
Yeah, and it's definitely important to know that the 3 kills did go to Wukong, and for all the members of World Enders to go to, and it looks like Wukong, speaking of him, he will get hooked up. There shouldn't be too much that comes out of this, as Rakan will be here just to dissuade any further intention. But Wukong here, that is not the person you want the gold going onto if you're ABD. Wukong can just be such an obnoxious champion to walk down with his W, with his ultimate. He's just so strong. And he can just dive into your backline and absolutely delete it. And fights can be over before they even start sometimes. So it will be interesting to see how they handle that question. They do have the tools available to them in the forms of a lot of CC on Sejuani and Nautilus. It'll just be important to see how they utilize that in these fights coming forward.
It's also going to be very important how that Wukong and Xayah work out because the Xayah needs to have the ability to free hit, and with that Gale Force and the massive amount of CC coming out from Wukong ult, it's going to be just unstoppable to hit that Xayah, especially with that additional Rakan support. It's going to be up to Viego and Rave just to get back there and make sure that Xayah can't free hit, even though it's going to be very difficult with her ult.
Yeah, and a little bit of a peace of mind ult coming out there from the Rumble. It is on such a short cooldown that it won't entirely matter. But he did end up using the equalizer there to defend his blue buff, as 4 members of ABD here are just questionably mid, as there's not much they can get. They don't really have a minion wave to force anything to happen. And we can see the members of Warlanders here really pushing the side lanes, denying ABD a lot of gold, as ABD is just kind of grouping, trying to make something happen, but Warlanders are just holding their positions, making sure that ABD can't really force anything.
Bit of an ARAM going on, but Viego's looking to engage on
Okay.
that Rumble.
As the force is coming out, you can see the Rakan quickness does come out. The W is yet to be cast. As the equalizer comes out, it does stop ABD in their tracks. They're not going to be able to walk backwards, but fortunately for them, they can just go forwards. As directive, camera, why did you pan away? I want to see this fight. There we go. The Wukong with the 4-man ultimate. Absolutely huge, but will get shut down. And Rakan here going in, just feeding an extra kill for no apparent reason. As Dilly did end up winning on the Malzahar as well, and that is a clean ace for ABD, only dropping Kawaii Star. And unfortunately for them, the Baron is on the map, but they're going to opt to go for this mid tower instead, not having the HP to really contest for this Baron.
Yeah, getting this mid tower really opens the map up for them because now that top side and mid is opened up and Dilly taking this bot side, they have complete control, almost complete control of the blue side jungle because now they have, well, control of the river and blue side entrances. So now they have any pressure to do Baron that they want, regardless if World Enders is alive or not.
Yeah, and this really will allow them to kind of facilitate further fights where they're going to be able to push their vision up as they already have. And especially around the Dragon Pit where they're sitting at those 2 dragons, that is still something that Wolanders needs to keep in the back of their heads, so that they really can't let this ABD team get this Dragon Soul. As you see, the bounties, they went from Wolanders after that fight and shifted over to ABD, 450 extra gold on this Victor, 300 on the Tristana. These are the players that Wukong really wants to dive into the backline. He dove and he almost got it. I think he just needed 1 kill and he could have potentially cleaned up all of them, but unfortunately for him, they were able to effectively target him and make sure that he wasn't able to get into that fight. And it's just a little bit of a failed fight from Warlanders. 2 members there getting caught out, and they really didn't want to sack the fight. They thought it was good, and they just ended up going in 1 by 1, and ABD just took those 3 sacks of gold, and looks like they made a lot with it.
Yeah, Rakan ended up having to use that W to even get close to Rumble to kind of, before he can activate the quickness to protect him, and it just ends up being too many utilities used and not enough damage coming out in time, and Adam Farm being just not very tanky, well, Rumble being not tanky right now, just got blown up very quickly, and it was just left to the Wukong and Xayah to clean that up, but seeing that Wukong, Zio Gale Force forward, but still getting hit by that last tick of the gravitational field from
Yep.
Victor, was able to still get stunned and just got
Oh,
locked down by
as
Rakan.
Viego here is potentially getting caught. The quickness will come out. The equalizer gets stacked on top of him, along with the Wukong ultimate. They still do want to keep going. Rave here maybe overstaying a little bit as he can't get slow. And Sejuani ult will dissuade any further actions as the slow comes out. And it looks like Rave is going to be able to successfully get away as Malzahar channeled his TP as well. But we see the pings of the Baron coming out. They saw Victor on the bot wave. They know that he has TP available. This is a little bit of a questionable call from Warlanders. You know, Kawhi still has his ultimate. Victor still has his. And Poseidon is up here in 10 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see how this coin flip goes. As the members of ABD are collapsing, Warlanders are stuck in the pit. They're going to opt to go for the Sejuani as Nautilus ultimate hits so much CC. Dewey will get exhausted. The fight goes out. Adam does get taken out. And it looks like the fight is going the way of Worldenders. ABD here not really out to put out the damage that they want. As Wukong will flash forward, Dewey will flash. As the gravitational field stuns too. Really split fight here from both teams. As Wukong here is going to get shoved off by this Victor. He does have the ability to keep chasing. It looks like he wants to. As Wukong here potentially getting caught. Rakan should be here to help save him. As Victor here is continuing to go forward, not dissuaded by anything. As he will have to blow his flash. Wukong here staying way too far. Not really able to determine his damage as Viego is here as well. And Tristan, they're looking to continue for the Rakan. Maybe no, Rakan will get away. We see the pings for the Baron potentially coming out as it looks like ABD want to reset. And no, they're going to TP back and they're going to go for this Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, a bit of an overextend from Wukong over there, kind of trying to extend the fight and look for as much as he can, but only running on 10% mana, not being able to actually use any spells and gap close. And Victor constantly procking those spells with his blue buff and getting that phase rush in the last second was able to really just catch up to that Wukong and clean up that fight.
Yeah, and importantly enough for ABD, they were able to pick up this third dragon. That does mean that it's sole point for every dragon going forward. Warlanders pretty much have to contest. And this really does put the agency a lot in ABD's hands, as when both the dragon and the Baron are up, they really have a lot of pressure on the map. And it really creates a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario for Warlanders, and they're really going to need an inventive answer to try and deal with this.
Yeah, if I were World Enders, I'd probably try and go for that Baron coin flip and get that Baron and let them have the soul, because even though they do have that extra health regen for dealing damage, they still Baron gives a lot of map pressure because of the empowered minions, and that's all that really they need to do. They just need to play their side lanes and play and make sure that they don't ever take those team fights and don't get too far out.
Oh,
But speaking of getting
Rumble,
far out,
yeah, Rumble here just gets absolutely deleted as Rakan will be following up. Warlanders there thought they had the tempo to make that play happen, but they didn't realize that ABD was just sitting in the bush and the pings for the Baron get called out and the Baron gets started up, and this almost certainly is a free Baron for ABD. As the members of Warlander, you can see Malzahar there in the top lane just catching the wave, and in the mid lane, you can see they're trying to shove that wave in before ABD are able to respond, trying to get something in response to this Baron.
unfortunately, they only try and get the mid inner turret, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And if they do stay too long, the Wukong might potentially be punished, even though he does have the TP. The Nautilus is going for the chase, so even if you just try it, he's going to get cancelled by it. And Dilly going forward, using that blue scrying orb to make sure he gets anything. But Wukong is able to get out, it seems, although
No, the pigs are
ABD
coming out.
does
They
not
really
doesn't
want
want to
this
give up the
kill.
chase for some reason. ABD, they actually
No,
don't
he is
land
almost certainly
yeah, it
out.
was
Yeah, he is
it was the
out for
clone,
sure
yeah.
now. As ABD here really chasing really hard, and instead of taking the tempo from the Baron, they send all 5 members bot to chase after this Wukong. It's a little bit of an interesting play. I think some people would call it a head scratcher, as they are just going to shove in this bot lane and potentially look to take this tower from Warlanders.
I believe they're trying to just get the team a little disoriented and trying to take a team fight, but I don't think that's really was the play, because now mid's kind of frozen in the river, and now they need to use that Baron to make sure that they can get that inner mid, because that inner mid is very low, and if they get that, they have complete control of the blue side jungle. Even though they're trying to siege the bot lane now, it's not really going to be that important for them.
Yeah, I mean, Malzahar has the TP available, so he is split pushing, but he does have the option to come out whenever he wants to. As ABD here just showing no signs of stopping. The equalizer comes out. It will dissuade ABD from going in as the backline gets zoned off. This is pretty much a dream fight for Warlanders as Wukong goes in. The quickness gets casted out. And it only lands on top of one member, but the rest of Warlanders are just not there. Malzahar, their TP too close to his towers. He flashes forward. I'm not sure that's the play you want to do. As Dewey ultimates the Wukong out. And Zaya here not really able to put out the damage. Victor has to stop watching the backline as the resets are coming out from Viego, and this should mean, oh, okay, the Xayah feathers. That was so many, but unfortunately not enough damage. As Poseidon here is going crazy on top of this Xayah. And look, oh, the flash comes out and he
Ooh.
fails, and that is unfortunate for him. And that might actually mean that Wukong might be able to stall the end of the game, as it looks like it is 1 versus 2. Baron and Powered Waves are on ABD's side as Wukong here is just going in. Sejuani just ignores him, doesn't care that he's even hitting him, as he is potentially going to kill him as he gets stunned up. Okay, the kill on top of Sejuani, that is going to stall the game. Rakan is up in 5, Wukong up, or excuse me, Rumble up in 2. As he does have the equalizer available, he should be able to stop this Victor from ending the game. Victor here is really just trying to end the game for some reason. He will get stunned up by the Rakan W. He is forced to flash out once again, but he is almost certainly dead.
Yeah, a bit of a kind of a heads-up play, but a little too aggressive play. The Victor backed and then immediately TP'd back into the fight to make sure that they can get that pressure going on. But staying for too long, taking that more than just one inhibitor turret is kind of a bit of an overstand. And now World Enders is able to get some early vision onto that dragon, but it's still up to them to make sure that they get that dragon, deny that soul from ABD, because that soul will inevitably make them way too strong for um, World Enders to deal with, because this is the team fight that will matter. And Victor staying too long, they can force an early fight and hope that it really makes a difference, but doesn't seem like World Enders is looking to do that right now, as
Yeah, as you
Kawaii tries to
see.
start on that
Okay,
onto her.
Rakan here with the flash quickness misses his W. The CC gets stacked. Wukong is TPing, but he's so far out of the fight. It's a 4v5, or it's a 4v4, excuse me. As it's going so wide, the flash is coming out from every which member, but Wukong is here. Wukong is showing up. He's going to get right on top of Dilly, do his best to do as much damage as possible. Dilly will get deleted, but we see Victor coming from the mid lane for ABD. All Rave has to do is just stall out. Victor, oh, okay, Wukong smartly realizing the Victor is on the way. And this does mean that the dragon should go the way of ABD, but it is a nice little kill pickup for World Enders.
Yeah, it's gonna probably be the soul for them there, because Wukong doesn't have any kind of entrance into this, because Penelope is just gonna be able to stop them, and then the amount of CC coming out from Rave is just gonna be that lockdown that Penelope needs to blow him up exactly like that.
Yeah, it's a nice little play from Penelope and Rave there, knowing that as soon as Wukong tries to contest this dragon, they just turn on him. And most importantly for ABD, that is the soul for them. You know, a game that was looking close for Warlanders is starting to look like the gates are getting closed on their chances to make this happen. You know, that fight was extremely close, but it did last a long time, and that's the important thing. With these extended fights, that's really where the Ocean Soul starts to shine, as you get that regen. You get the mana regen as well, and it really helps these extended fights for ABD, and is looking like the doors are closing on World Enders' chances.
And now it's on ABD to kind of get those small victories by getting that mid inner turret, and then allowing that bot lane to just crash into there, because they are opening Nexus. So any team fight that they take was going to be uh have to be favored in terms of World Enders, because there's not going to be much they could do if ABD wins that fight. But it's looking very grim with that Ocean Soul and being up almost 4,000 gold.
Yeah, and this is even the point where Kawaii can start placing wards inside their base, and they could potentially look to double TP when the Baron is up. As you can see, you know, a little bit of skirmishing happening here around the inhib tower. Wukong here potentially looking for a flank, but the Vision will scout him out, and they're not going to be able to catch on top of ABD. As all members here, Wukong going in, we can see Wukong and Rakan going into the backline. Viego will be forced to ultimate out, but Wukong here is so segregated from his team. Xayah can't even hit the enemy team. Xayah ultimate will be forced to come out. And it looks like this fight is almost certainly one for ABD unless something crazy happens. It is 4 kills over the way of ABD, with Xayah as the sole remainder. And we will have to see if she's able to pull it off, but I think the game is firmly in ABD's winning hands.
Yeah, a bit of a choke going on there, and they're unable to do anything to get the dealing in the backline. He was free hitting, and it looks like they just TP just to get a little extra BM in there before they end the game and trying to get that last 50 gold.
Yeah, that will be the game going the way of ABD. Definitely a strong showing from Wilderness. Nothing to sneeze at against this team. I think it went back and forth in multiple areas. And it is, you know, just another nice showing from Wilderness. Unfortunate for them that this is an 0-2 week for them, losing out against GME and ABD. But they did have a nice showing against both of those teams. So maybe on a different day they could have taken one of these games. But unfortunately for today, it did not go their way. And we will be seeing ABD coming out as the victor today.
I believe that puts ABD as 3-1, right?
No, ABD
I
will be
think.
at 2-2, and so will World Enders actually.
Oh, so it was GME that was 3-1. Okay, so now. Oh no, GME hasn't played their fourth game yet. I don't know. I believe GME is 2-1. These too many standings to keep
GME
track
is
of. A
3 and
lot's
0.
going.
As a little
They're
shout out
3-0.
to Code for
Yeah.
updating the stats spreadsheet. If you look at the spreadsheet, there's a standings portion on the tabs on the bottom, and that has live standings that we update. Usually every day, but at worst case at the end of the week, you can see where teams are currently standing.
Yeah, either way, there's going to be a very important. This is a very important game for the middle of the pack because ABD and World Enders being 2-2 and taking a game, ABD taking a game off of World Enders means that it's going to be anything goes in a best of three series later on during playoffs.
Yeah, and it is definitely something that these teams need to think about as we are going to be starting to move the World Enders in here. They are unfortunately our losers for today, and let's see if we can round them up and bring them in here. Oh my god, how are you so fast though? I'm always so slow. But
He's
alright.
just his secret is having a small tab, just
Yeah.
to just drag them in.
Alright, as we do have the members of World Enders here. Unfortunately, this does mean that you guys went 0-2, but did you expect the game to kind of go this way? There was a lot of back and forth moments. It really felt like the game was in your hands at a couple points, and then other times it felt like it was just unbeatable for ABD.
I think our biggest problem is we haven't played together enough. Like from what I get out of these games, I just feel like people are not on the same page, and people are calling out shit, and either other people are counter calling or not following, and that's our biggest problem. I feel like it's not enough fluidity in our gameplay. It's
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
just 5 solo queue games is what I got out of this game.
yeah, I mean, at least you're able to identify, part of the problem. The worst case, what happens is you come out of a game and you're not sure why things went as bad as they did. But if you can figure out why it happened, and you can work on fixing it, then that's definitely
Yeah.
something that can work for you guys. And I mean, unfortunately, you guys do lose this game, but it still does put you in the middle of the pack and still able to make these playoffs. But you guys do have some hard opponents coming up. And how do you guys feel about your next couple games in week 3 and
Hard
week 4?
opponents. What do you mean? I feel like the next 3 games are gonna be free, bro. I
Your
don't
next
They're
three
know.
gonna
games,
be free.
Fucking Dab Nation doesn't exist in my mind.
oh,
Uh,
okay. Well, we'll see about
Akatsuki,
that.
it's
We'll
gonna
see
be
about that.
Akatsuki is gonna be a fucking cakewalk.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
SES. Maybe SES is a bit hard though. I can take that one. That could be a bit hard, but the other two, too easy.
All
Well, we'll
right.
have to see how that plays out then.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes.
uh,
As if it plays like it played today, maybe it won't be as easy as you expect, but
hey, it won't play as it played out today. It's either gonna be worse or much better. Okay, I can give you that. I can give you that as much. There's no middle grounds.
All right. As unfortunately, this doesn't mean you guys go 0-2 for the week, but we wish you guys the best of luck for your games in the next week.
Thank you for casting our game.
No
Thank you.
problem. As now get out of here.
Oh, you just threw him somewhere
Yep,
else.
just
Okay,
throw them
well,
out.
yeah.
As we will be pulling in ABD now, the winners for today.
Now we start pulling them in. May have missed. Oh, there we go.
Nope, we got everyone. All right, as you did pull in ABD, and you guys are able to even up your record at 2-2 with this win. And I gotta ask for you guys, how do you feel coming out of this game?
Feeling good, dude. Really clean win. Happy with how everyone played. Who did the most? Was it Dilly that did the most damage? Yeah.
No.
it was
Penelope.
Penelope. Oh,
I
never
did the
mind.
most by a lot.
Penelope's
Because
doing
he
good.
inted early and took a bunch of fights, so he got extra damage. That's
Yeah,
why.
true enough,
True. That's why he has twice
True.
as many deaths. True.
Wait, but everyone says Viego's OP, but like, look at the damage charts. How do you get out damaged by Sejuani?
Roaming, I guess.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
A
no, you
little
had
bit
him
of a
like
true
glacial.
You
moment.
were
didn't you?
smacking Wukong all lane.
Yeah, and
As you can see, all
Exactly.
members of ABD padding their stats with that damage. Maybe playing a little bit for the stats page, but it's all right. Yeah, it's that game. You guys said it played pretty cleanly, but there was a lot of back and forth in that game. But ultimately, you guys were able to play the objectives, got that ocean zone, were able to secure the game. I gotta ask, Poseidon, what happened in the fountain? It seemed like there was a little bit of a misclick on the flash.
No, I was trying to pull the feathers back into Wukong. I was trying to do something that was a little freaky. But it sadly did not work.
Yeah,
Also,
it's for the
this man, yeah, it was for the stream. Yeah, it's for the highlight reel, but you know, we went for it. Man, this guy Tarim though, he says he's a better jungler than me, and then you see his dive in that first game tonight. I mean, come on, dude. I would never do something like that.
Oh man. I mean, that is definitely something that you wouldn't do, but you would flash into the Nexus and miss your feathers. So unfortunately,
I would.
it is
It's
like an
true.
apples to oranges kind of scenario, but you can
I
respect it.
mean, you know, the game is won.
Ah.
You know, we're just trying, you know, just style points.
I
at
mean,
that point, you know.
you weren't able to end because you died, but it's okay.
We wanted Ocean Soul. We had to make sure.
We have to do
Secure
that
the
once
win,
a
right?
season.
We
Last
need to
season it was
secure
Rave's
the
turn.
Ocean Soul.
It was Ray's turn.
Last season was my turn to end the game and not
And
end
not
the game.
end. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got to do it every now and again.
It always happens on this team.
Especially you don't play Zaya for a while. It feels good to run at people with the feathers, and then you know,
Just
you,
get a
you
little
think
too
you can do
hypey.
something. You're getting a little too hypey. Yeah. I mean, Viego's just fun, dude. He's just a fun champion.
Yeah.
Like, not balanced, but fun. When you play him. Not fun
You
for
gonna
anyone
do
else.
the
Yeah,
MVP pool?
Yeah, actually, just a quick question, Dilly. Can you run us through what happened in that bot lane when Malzahar took the turret and we just turn around and we see that Tristana has won the fight against that 1v1? What
Well,
exactly happened there?
I think he didn't realize I had QSS, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna ult him under
Okay.
tower. The tower is gonna die," and that wasn't gonna work, obviously. So I just autoed him to death, ulted him.
Okay, see, that makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
I think he just overlooked that I bought QSS on the last pack.
Okay, well, I don't think we have the MVP yet for this game, do we?
I
No,
do
the
not
poll's
believe that.
not even up.
Oh, well. NA production, guys.
NA production, NA production. That's right. As you get the MVP vote going, I gotta ask you guys. You do have the remainder of your matches going. I think you have. This is your fourth match, so you're playing up against Cease and then INS, and I think your last match is JJT. Yeah. How do you guys feel about the remainder of those matches? Do you feel like they're gonna go a little bit more in vein to how the rest of them went so far, or do you feel like they're gonna be easier?
Listen, all I can say is for that last week matchup, this man who's been talking a lot of smack for someone who hasn't won it, who isn't winning a lot of games. You know, we better crack those knuckles right before the game and tell him what's up, man.
As you can see,
wait,
you know.
Has JJT like won a game or?
Yeah,
I think they've won
beat
one.
They
INS.
won against INS
Yeah.
or C's,
Yeah.
something like that.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, they do only have one less win than you, so it is, not too far for them to say that.
It's true, but you know, our strength of schedule up to this point.
Yeah, our strength of schedule is a little different.
It's a little different than other teams. I'd say the Akatsuki started playing C's, G2 Tech, and INS in their first 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, they also played ABD,
the
so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I mean that team's bad too, so whatever.
That team is bad.
Happens.
Yeah.
As the MVP vote is up, I think we're just gonna let it sit for maybe a little bit longer. But Penelope is in the lead currently, and I gotta ask, Penelope, we did see a little bit of a combo coming out from the Malzahar and the Rumble in the early game. Were you expecting that kind of setup to happen and to sort of get just no interaction gameplay, or were
That
you...
is so dumb. That is actually just so dumb.
So you have a lot of
just
fun.
Sitting under tower and I just die. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's alright.
Well, that's Malzahar Gaming right there.
Malzahar Gaming.
Yeah, Malzahar Gaming, is some people just really enjoy not letting other people have fun. And
let me also say, I don't think you should go Rylai second on Malzahar. Rylai's is, I think, the worst item. Like it must be like one of the lowest pick rate items in the game, right?
No, there's the support item, the ward stem.
Wardstone?
Yeah,
Do
that's
people
like
not build that
no,
still?
that is like the lowest pick
No, it's
item in the
still
game.
not. It's still not
Yeah,
great.
but I mean that can at least only be played by like one role every game, and sometimes you just don't get to the point where you have enough gold to get it. But like at any point during the game, anyone can buy a Rylai's, but no one chooses to.
That's true.
Because it's bad.
What
Wait,
the
how did
hell,
Kawhi get pulled?
What are you saying,
How did
Drew?
Kawhi get MVP?
Hey, dude, what do you mean? How did Kawhi not? Kawhi actually had a strong
Multiple
performance this
people,
game.
bro.
As the
Wait,
MVP,
I-
like they were saying, is going to be Kawhi.
I
Kawhi, what do you
can't
have to say to your
recall.
fans?
He stole my kills bot lane early and he gets MVP. Oh my
Dude, he
god.
didn't steal anything.
wonder-
Those
you
belong
wonder
to
how
the
we,
support.
We won this time because Kawhi didn't bet on the other team, so he wasn't throwing for points.
True,
Actually true.
Oh yeah, you guys probably bet. This was a fat bet, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 50K or something points in the
Yeah, it
chat?
was a lot of points. And I just lost them
Yo,
It
all.
was 20K on
no,
each
Fortunate.
team.
No cap. I got one vote for this MVP, and it was me.
Yeah, I think you
Nothing.
lost
The
it after
ego
you
on
flashed it in
man.
the phone or
Listen,
something.
if
don't
I
know.
didn't-
But
if
if
I didn't,
got that play,
You still wouldn't have gotten it, trust me.
instant MVP.
As you can see, you guys, in good spirits coming out of this game. We continue to wish you the best of luck in your remainder of games, and hopefully you continue the strong performance that you put out today. And we'll go ahead and kicking you guys out of here as we wrap up the broadcast for today.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks.
absolutely.
Have a good night.
Yeah, get out.
I love
Get
you.
out of here.
And they're gone.
All right, as that will be the last match we do have for today, I do believe we are doing some additional rebroadcasts from earlier in the week tomorrow. So catch me and Crimson on that tomorrow if I remember correctly. That should be
Yeah, I
around,
believe it's ABD versus DN and DN versus INS.
Yeah, that sounds right. If
Yeah.
not, then it is only a slight variation, but we'll be seeing you guys there for tomorrow. And I believe that is all the games we have for the week. I don't believe we have anything on Sunday. No, we
Oh
do
no,
have
we
one
have
game.
GME versus
Yeah.
DN. Yeah.
GME versus DN, that will certainly be a banger. Both of these teams contesting for that number 2 spot, so it will be interesting to see which team is able to come out on top. But we will be going ahead and ending the stream versus today. I can't speak English. I think you rubbed off on me a little bit.
Yeah, it happens.
As we will go ahead and end the stream for today. We will catch you guys tomorrow and on Sunday, so we'll see you guys then.